The Tarmacers, the gang that runs Ireland. Their rise is a testament to how cunning some of these criminals can be, and how quickly they take the opportunity when presented. The Tarmacers formed powerful alliances, suppressed the competition swiftly, and became one of the most powerful crime syndicates in the country. But what exactly is the story of this criminal empire's rise to power, and how have they stayed under the public radar so well? Let's find out together as we explore the Tarmacers crime gang of Ireland. Before we talk about the Tarmacers, we first have to look at the Marbella mob. The Marbella mob was a crime gang in Ireland that handled the supply of cocaine in Belfast. At the head of the gang were three men: J.D. Donegan, Sean Fox, and a third man only known as Mr. S. These three gangsters really loved to live in luxury. They bought expensive cars and often went on vacation to exotic places like Marbella, thus earning the name the Marbella Mob. All using their ill-gotten gains, of course. The Marbella Mob acted as an extension of the Kinahan cartel. They had the backing of the Kinahans, and as long as they paid their dues for the drugs they got, they could stay in power fairly easily. After all, who would dare go up against the Kinahans? So, as you can guess, the Marbella mob had a pretty sweet gig going. The Tarmacers were also part of this whole system. You see, the Marbella mob did not handle the distribution of drugs themselves. Instead, they outsourced it to the Tarmacers, who distributed it on the street level. The Tarmacers were paid well, and they worked on the condition that they wouldn't be partaking in any feud the Marbella gang got itself into. Once again, a pretty sweet deal. This symbiotic relationship went on for quite a while, but the first sign of trouble came when J.D. Donegan got killed. On the 4th of December 2018, a gunman approached a school in West Belfast. This was the school where J.D. Donegan's son studied. Donegan was there to pick up his son when the gunman approached him and shot him to death. The reason behind the murder was simple. Donegan had not paid sufficient extortion money. You see, despite how strong the Marbella mob was, they still could not operate without having to pay off gangs like the Irish National Liberation Army and the Óglaigh na hÉireann, a splinter group of the IRA, to be allowed to sell drugs. So, when Donegan refused to pay the money, the gangs had him executed brutally in broad daylight. This was the starting point of the fall of the Marbella mob. With J.D. Donegan out of the way, Mr. S was the one to step up and take over the leadership of the Marbella mob. He handled the shipment of drugs from Dublin and sold them in Belfast. For all intents and purposes, he could have grown his business indefinitely. That is, if he had not developed a very bad habit: gambling. Mr. S began gambling the drug money he earned like no tomorrow, and just like every other gambler, he was losing. The problem is that it was not only his own money that Mr. S was losing so freely. The Marbella gang got the drugs that it sold on consignment from the Kinahans. That means Mr. S had to pay the Kinahans back, but due to his crippling gambling habits, he was falling behind on the payments. By a lot. In no time, he had racked up a debt of 500,000 euros to the Kinahans, and those are the kind of people you really don't want to owe money if you cannot pay it back. The relationship between the Marbella cartel and the Kinahans was weakening rapidly because of this. In 2021, men from the Kinahans arrived at Mr. S's door, telling him to pay up. But when Mr. S was unable to clear the debt in the next few months, the Kinahans sent gunmen to take care of the matter. Mr. S luckily got away and hid with Sean Fox. Little did Mr. S know that Sean Fox would be the next to kick the bucket, with the crime gangs knowing that the Kinahans were no longer as interested in keeping the Marbella mob. A hit on Sean Fox was imminent. Gunmen from the ONH ambushed Fox and shot him 20 times before escaping. At the time, Fox was watching a match of football at a pub with one of his kids there with him. The reason behind the attack was thought to be Fox not paying extortion money to the ONH. Whatever the case may be, with Fox dying, the Marbella mob was only left with Mr. S as its leader, a man disliked by the Kinahans. In a move everyone saw coming, Mr. S ran and hid, hoping he would not be attacked next. Not only did he have the Kinahans to worry about, but he knew from Sean Fox's death that the INLA or ONH could also come after him. So, Mr. S chose to be safe rather than sorry. In a bold move, Mr. S contacted the ONH and offered to pay them €10,000 for getting off of their hit list. The offer was accepted. This also gave S the right to sell drugs in ONH territory. With that, Mr. S was able to come out of hiding. But unknown to him, irreparable damage had been done to his drug network in one swift move. While Mr. S was hiding from his enemies, an unexpected visitor came to Dubai and held a meeting with the Kinahans. It was none other than the leader of the Tarmacers, a seasoned criminal. He knew the drug business well and was well versed in handling high qualities of drugs. This made the Tarmacers the perfect replacement for the Marbella mob in the eyes of the Kinahans. The contract with the Marbella mob was ended, and the Tarmacers became the new extension for the Kinahans in Belfast. The Tarmacer leader met with important figures in the Kinahan cartel and then came back to Ireland. He now had the backing of the largest criminal empire in the world. The rise of the Tarmacers was swift. The mob's boss quickly announced what had transpired in Dubai, letting other rivals know that messing with his gang would now mean messing with the Kinahans. Unlike the Marbella mob, the Tarmacers were actually capable of fighting their battles. They had weapons and seasoned criminals to keep the rivals at bay. The Tarmacers refused to pay any extortion money to the INLA or ONH for selling drugs in their territory. Within just 2 years of the meeting in Dubai, the Tarmacers gang became the largest drug supplier mob in Northern Ireland. What used to be a small-time distribution gang had turned into a criminal empire, all while avoiding publicity. You see, the Tarmacers are not extravagant in their spending and luxury, quite unlike the Marbella mob, and this has allowed them to keep operating with less resistance from the rivals and the authorities. Even the sanction on the Kinahans had almost no effect on the Tarmacers. While the Kinahans have lost a lot of their allies and their legal money-making businesses are gone, the drug empire has become a bit weak. The Kinahans are still successfully getting drugs from South America and sending them over around the world for distribution, including to the Tarmacers in Ireland. So even as the Kinahans weaken, the Tarmacers get stronger than ever. It seems luck is on the side of the Tarmacers as well. In 2022, Mr. S, the last leader of the Marbella mob, was arrested and jailed. With that, the Marbella mob has died. This allowed the Tarmacers to further unhindered access to the Irish drug market, allowing them to grow even more. The question now arises, will the Tarmacers continue this streak of growth? The answer is not so simple. The success of the Tarmacers is closely tied to that of the Kinahans. If the Kinahans fall, the Tarmacers will be out of drugs to keep their operation running. But if the Kinahans survive this onslaught of arrests and sanctions, the Tarmacers probably have a bright future to look forward to. Which of these two scenarios ends up happening? Only time will tell. What we do know is that the Tarmacers have achieved unparalleled success in the span of just 2 years, and if that continues, the Irish underworld will see a lot of changes. Well, that's it for this video. Let us know in the comment section what are your thoughts on the Tarmacers. Please do like the video for more content like this. And also, please subscribe if you want more content like this. Until next time, goodbye.